As expected. You're one of my father's brothers, aren't you? Then help him. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
My long-lost niece, you live! We thought you met the same fate as your father, and your mother, and your brother. Oh. Well, how about we turn the tide and exact terrible revenge for poor old Hades and his kin? Old underworld bookman yet eludes the grasp of Kronos, does he? Turn to a life of the piratical smuggler in these dark times, huh? My niece, you ought to know that elder goddess Demeter and I, we may jeer and jest at one another, but it's never out of spite. Isn't that right, dear foster sister?
Oh, Poseidon, you needn't lie to young Melinoe like that. It sends a terrible impression, and may make her hold you in as much contempt as do I. But let's cooperate for now. Why not?
I heard so much about you, Uncle. But you're not just very strong. You're generous as well. I am grateful, and would give you this.
Oh, little niece, how thoughtful, but deeply unnecessary. Yet now I'm feeling generous, so here, this one's for you.
Well, this is quite a catch.
Did you do it, niece? Strange things have happened since the other night. Good things if you're not one of our enemies. We think perhaps you cut old Kronos down to size, but he just grows right back, as I recall. I fail to see why coin need change hands for a blessing from your uncle, though come to think such blessings are most valuable indeed.
Proud family, this one. Uncle Poseidon here forgoes full armor on account that he's too quick and too thick-headed, thick-skinned, I mean to say. Ain't that the case, Uncle?
Come, nephew, you know how much I value your craft. Even if I'd not be caught dead wearing much of it myself. It's just, only a coward goes to battle clad in plating head to toe. A coward far more likely to withstand his wounds, but still. Counting on you, little niece, but still, I'd not expected you could take on Kronos and prevail. I thought at best you'd keep him busy for a while. You must be very strong, like me. Ask any god upon Olympus whether we think you ought to join in our defense here, or take the fight to Kronos in your father's realm, and you'll get a range of views. A range of highly civil views, which we don't fight about at all. Zeus, he says you made it all the way up to our palace, niece, and sent the monster Typhon howling to the earth. Forgive my absence. All too many water bodies to defend. My niece, we all must tirelessly work to counteract the harm Kronos has wrought. Some even more tirelessly than the rest. Take, for instance, my nephew Hephaestus here. I told him he could have a word if he got back to hammering after.
See how generous our Lord Poseidon is? Everybody needs a decent Uncle Arce. Let me know should you ever find one. Now, we here best get back to hammering things out.
Well, I'm left to wonder who it was that taught you such good manners, niece. You're like a proper little lady. I'm impressed. You sailed down there faster than the trimmest mortal ship. Well then, what say we scour clean this little corner of the sea? Did you see the size of that terrible Typhon, my niece? It has been so long since last we fought that I dare say he's grown still larger in the intervening time. And sneakier as well. All of that shaking here, is much from him. This flotsam about Kronos abducting the three fates. Impossible. A ploy to take us off our guard. Don't go believing everything you hear, my niece. What, my niece, you're here? I'd come down and welcome you myself, except our mountain home is crawling with invaders, as you've probably observed. So we are at the summit, like a bunch of turtles hiding in their shells. Oh, Kronos warrants every bit of justice you dispensed and more, my niece. I was already angry with him after everything he'd done, and that was prior to my realizing that he'd unleashed terrifying Typhon on us all. Remember how I said that we don't ever fight with one another on Olympus, little niece? Well, that might have been a slight exaggeration on my part, but I stand with Hera on this one. We think your efforts are best spent up here. Whatever gold you paid ought to be at the bottom of the sea. Who does that Kronos think he is, showering mortals with shiny metals? I trust your boatman there appreciates that the smooth sailing he's experienced in his mercantile routes is no coincidence at all. Night after night, victory after victory! Ha ha! You're making all of this look rather easy, niece. Well then sail on, and may my blessing make things easier still. Always make for the most pleasant company, but times of peace don't always last, and my good nephew Ares here is excellent to have around for that. Now don't be shy, Ares. Come greet my niece, would you?
Lycan and I are already acquainted, Lord Uncle, though she may not be overly familiar yet with what we can achieve when we combine your influence over the raging sea with what I do.
To put horrendous Typhon down for good. He can be reasoned with, recuperates his strength night after night, and has us cornered like a sturgeon in a net. But unlike fish, we can fight tirelessly back. Now that you've given Kronos something to really think about, you're headed back our way. First an underworld victory, and next perhaps one here.
Our Uncle Poseidon here tends to give counsel more than any of our kin, perhaps believing volume of advice is tied to quality. What ought to be our current course, Uncle?
Our current course ought to be straight toward our foes, where we can smash them like a tempest does a ship. Ah, but I feel all fired up and fit for battle. Come to think of it, I always get this way when my good nephew Ares is around. What wisdom we can share and how to deal with horrid Typhon since we battled him before. You'll have to ask Athena about that, or perhaps Zeus. I played a more supporting role during that clash is all. Much like old Kronos, we have vanquished awful Typhon once before. Your lord uncle, he struck the final blow himself, a bolt of lightning right between the eyes. The two main eyes, at least. He has so many of those eyes. Surrender to us, niece. You must have heard you helped deliver him. If there remains some mess that must be cleaned, I cannot follow what he rambled on about, but if you simply need my boons, then here. What is this about having to confront Kronos in other times, and even Typhon too? I'll not pretend to understand, but if this is the cost of peace, I'll pay my share without a second thought. When we first met, I promised terrible revenge for what had happened to your kin, and I think what we've done would qualify. So what if Kronos wasn't permanently slain? Neither was old Hades, after all. This is I, you braved the waters in the Rift of Thessaly. A nautical experience not for the faint of heart. Fraught as it is with deathless ships hell-bent on your family's destruction. May you have smoother sailing there next time. The sea can be a moody mistress indeed. And you know why, my little niece? Because I can be a moody mister.
I'm sorry, Uncle Poseidon.
Oh, this little fishy can bite back. Perhaps I shouldn't be rewarding you for this, but I just cannot help myself. Good tidings to you, niece. Where are you, niece? The bottom of the sea? Or very close to it? Must be even darker than what you're accustomed to. And the terrible pressure. Not even I can stand it for too long. So how can you? Oh, there's the unmistakable incredible refracting gleam of that vivid sea of mine, or I should say of yours. How it has flourished traveling with you. Your respect for my waters has not gone unnoticed here by me. First I heard our last best hope for stopping Kronos was the second-born of Hades and his queen, I said, wait, who? So then they had a girl. The Titan must have struck your father's house right after you were born. Now, strictly speaking, niece, you chose correctly in deferring to my brother Zeus, but I must still save face.
We fickle gods.
You just wiped the floor with all of those half-minutes. And just like that, my furies ebbed away as well. Welcome to my boundless, terrifying seas, my niece. Unfortunately, teeming with invaders now. Got my hands full dealing with them, if you must know. We'll see if you can break through their blockade. You've seen it. Our mountain's like a cross between a luxurious palace and an impregnable fortress. The so-called legions of Kronos will be getting through these walls. Right on the very spot once stood a massive army headed for our mountain, niece. So I just split the earth right under them. So now we have a massive navy to contend with, and contend we shall. Terrible Typhon left his imprint on this mountainside, of that you can be sure. Even our palace buckled under his immeasurable weight. But in the end, our palace stands, not he. Some of the newfangled boons we've offered haven't always swept you off your feet, but we do still have certain older blessings closer to the ones your brother used to get. Why, here's a few right now. You possess a rod of fishing there. What lingering doubts I had of you just vaporized. What are we even fighting for, if not the right to fish whensoever we desire? Ladies first, is that the way of it, young niece? I'm sure Queen Hera is most pleased with you, but I, for one, am not.
Sorry. He wants a fight, does he?
That's how I like to settle a dispute, using whichever impressionable creatures are around to make my dissatisfaction known. I have known Hestia practically since the cataclysmic day that I was born. Although when things are normal, we avoid each other at all costs, she's like an old, wise sister to me at this point, and I'm glad she's here, right here.
Glad I'm here, you look, lest I leave all of you again to fend for your own damn selves. You won't be putting Kronos back into the ground without me, anyhow. That goes for you too, hot stuff.
There's my trusty elder brother. Is his home redecoration going well? Hades and I, we never used to talk too much since he moved underneath the earth. But now's the time for us to change all that. The Cyclops Polyphemus bars your passage to the channel cutting through the countryside. That spoiled sport. Once played a little jape to make him think he was my son, and he's been sore about it since. I couldn't help but notice how you seem to keep taking that cloud bangle with you from my brother Zeus. He is a very busy god, you understand? While I may aid you readily if you but use the vivid sea instead. I would close that rift of Thessaly right up as soon as our war ended. But apparently we need for everything to be the way it was in order for your sorcery to work. Sounds like a promise I shall have to break. If you got past Polyphemus before, you can do it again, can't you, my niece? Once you make it past the docks, it's a straight shot down the channel to Olympus. Treacherous waters, yes, but I can help you navigate, I'm sure. Different potent blessings just aren't good enough for you? Is that what you would like me to believe?
Here he comes.
There I go, fighting attacking my kin again when I ought to turn my wrath against our common enemy, who is our kin as well. Return for now to more familiar depths, I see. Well, don't feel bad. The surface world is not for everyone, although the risen dead increasingly pretend it is for them. Swimming in dangerous waters with such antics, niece. If you so wish to see what lurks in these depths, fine.
We fickle gods.
All is forgiven, niece. No need to fret. I was just testing a resolve, and evidently you have plenty of it still. As much as I do welcome this now gentler Father Kronos, who seems less desirous to see our home destroyed, I still am wary of that old coot. He's been cooperative, though. Such is the smuggler's life. Surprise! You are the fortunate recipient of my almighty boon, which means the legions of Kronos are in for an even bigger surprise, and not the good kind. Underworld boatman, he can't sail to this mountaintop. Unless he fashions for himself a craft that sails on air, he shall be relegated to my waters. But how then did he get his goods up here? Quitting on Olympus finally ceased. One of many benefits to awful Typhon being cast away. Apparently you have to face him somewhere still. At least some hallucinated revenant of him. I'm glad I don't. Rages all around, there's little time for love, little room for beauty. In Aphrodite here, she never loses heart. It's almost precious how she strives with all her might, brandishing that decorative spear of hers.
Well, good Lord Poseidon, I'm pleased to know how I inspire you. Though perhaps you ought to pay more attention to our foes than to what I do with my spear, so we can turn this battle in our favor, finally.
Trim ship with the underworld boatman at the helm. Perhaps I ought not call him underworld boatman anymore, or he's become a proper captain now. I'll have to keep the currents clear for him. Word has reached me that you clashed with Scylla and her siren followers. So that's where they ended up. They once were the torment of many a sailor till I took care of them.
Flame of the hearth.
There you go again, brushing me aside like a bit of seaweed clinging to your leg. Is that what you take me for, niece?
I mean no disrespect.
I shall count this one as an honest mistake on your part, for I can fathom no other explanation for what transpired here. Good tidings to you, niece. Pointy foot as I again, good niece. Although presumably you must have known, as likely all the unmarked packaging concealing this boon was soaked all the way through.
A little something to soothe the senses, Uncle Poseidon. I know it's hardly the occasion now, but isn't there always some cause to celebrate?
You praise your uncle, and your uncle, why? He thinks it's really great. I think it's great, that is. That you would think of gifts in times like these. You've some experience with witchery, fine. But you have much to learn about the fishing arts. And you have demonstrated interest is the first step toward mastery. Catching a huge variety of water denizens is the next. Choice if I were you, but then if I were you, I wouldn't still be me, so... you get my drift.
I'm sorry, Uncle Poseidon.
I got a little heated there, I think, but I've cooled off. No lasting harm, though to be fair, my blessing here won't last too long either.
I see.
Blessing, niece? Well, then I'll just have to offer it to whomever else trips by. Perhaps they'll appreciate it.
Let's take it easy now.
Fear not, niece. All my anger's washed away as quickly as it swelled. That's emotions for you. The seas themselves are simpler to control.
This one's for you, Uncle. May you shake all our foes from the land, and your seas swallow them, that they rue the day they rose against us.
Of all the many sacrifices I've been receiving as of late, and there have been a lot, yours have been the very best of all, my niece. And you set aside such ample time to fish has not been lost on me, my niece. And you caught more types of water denizens than I can easily count. You already have my finest blessings. You now also have my deep respect.
Lord Poseidon, so many mortals know you as the Earthshaker, for the land and sea alike bend to your will, but I'm so deeply fortunate to know you as my uncle. I won't forget your kindness and spirit.
You needn't waste your nectar on me, niece. Not like I can drink it all the way from here. Perhaps that's just how it is with offerings. Mortals, they leave us strips of fresh cooked meat and things like that. What was I on about? Scoundrel Prometheus got a proper punishment from you last night, Athena says. We've been unable to subdue him, as he's sneaky like the forces he commands. But now you've drawn him out.
I heard the tales of my father's brothers long before we met, Uncle, and you're as mighty and courageous as they say. But I also feel as though you've been looking out for me. Thank you for making me feel welcome and safe.
Such a voyage we have had, haven't we, niece? And you're not even in my same vicinity. Just how it is with relatives. They're with you even when they're not. Know that I'm with you too, and always making certain that the coast is clear. At least after you find one of my boons. It once took 6 of us to bring the Titan Kronos down. Myself, your father, brother Zeus, his lovely Hera, Demeter, and Hestia as well. We'd mighty weapons for the job and everything.
Dear Uncle Poseidon, this offering of sweet ambrosia is for you. My father must have been so fortunate to have grown up with such a big-hearted and caring brother. May all your seas and land soon know tranquility again.
However, did you find such an extravagance amid our tempestuous times, niece? All I expected you to do was furiously fight, but you have done much more. I move the earth itself, yet you move me. Vast is my knowledge of the sea, and even still it has its many mysteries. For instance, how can such a horrifying monster as Charybdis come from such a wondrous place? And what's it doing in my rift, besides gorging itself? Most of you underworld gods are more than welcome on Olympus here when we are not at war, but not Eris. Her antics ruined one too many feasts, and now she flaps about our borders, mocking us and making matters worse. Have you yet come to know Golden Apollo, niece? He's so well known and loved among the mortals that he had no choice but to involve himself in our most recent family affair, bending to mortal pressure like a bow. Ha!
Come now, Uncle. I don't yield to pressure quite so easily. I just knew this situation would be more than you could handle on your own. We're not just family, we're a team, aren't we?
Make the sacrifice.
I see you want my blessing still, except a little less than that one you just took. And you want it after a very rousing fight.
I mean no disrespect. I need to calm him down.
Why are we dallying when we have bigger fish to fry? Oh, right, because you picked the fight with me. Though, does this mean I lost? Boy there! It's your brother back, my niece. How he would scurry through your father's underworld like a rat fleeing a sinking ship. But now that ship is bound to be repaired. And it'll be a fine ship after all is said and done. I've discovered by now all my many boons. I'm always thinking about more, of course. Used to have lots of different ones, if you must know. But times have changed, and Brother Zeus says we must concentrate. Those watery horrors you face, I just want you to know they're not my fault. I don't abide such monsters in my realm, and so they sneak inside the underworld to take their rancor out on you. The Cocytus River flowing through those musty woods of yours is quite the fishing spot. You'd be doing all those river denizens a favor getting them out of there. Keep powerful defenses on the ground, but face attackers from the skies as well. Harpies, dragons, more. Also this little winged mortal fellow buzzing all about. Brother Zeus near bolted him before we realized that he was on our side. Sail across the rift, know this. I shall do my utmost to ensure water current speeds you mightily along. Though how to do it without benefiting the opposing ships. At least you made the awful Typhon's life more difficult last night, my niece. He almost crushed you like a shellfish, didn't he? But you created just enough annoyance that we pushed him back after you ran away, or whatever you did. You turn your back on the sea, you're going to regret it. And the sea in this case is myself.
I'm sorry, Uncle Poseidon.
All right, that's enough splashing around, I think. My wrath has ebbed back into the sea, that is, wherever my wrath has soared. There ought to be all hands on deck here when we have the Titan's armies battering our gates. But wine-loving Dionysus, he so desires peace, yet refuses to fight for it. Oh, I'd drown his sorrows myself if I but knew where he went. The age of mortals is to come. Not if I open up a few more rifts, it won't. Ah, the earth itself can swallow all of those ungrateful little louts if the seas don't do it first. Wounded me, my niece. Not physically, of course, but mentally. Such wounds as heal only with revenge.
Let's take it easy now.
All right, niece, I'll let you off with a warning just this once. Or however many times it's been. I've really no idea. Keep up with current events, and I hear you gave that loudmouth Scylla and her siren hangers-on quite the performance of your own. Too bad their godlike nature means they can't be killed, but they can certainly be shamed.
We are as one big family upon Olympus, and we pride and celebrate our differences. So many varying perspectives to account for at all times. Although Poseidon here, we always manage to see eye to eye, don't we?
Most certainly, brother. Not always right away, and there are some occasions when I might decide elsewise if it was solely up to me, but even still, you always have your head up in the clouds where smart ideas form. Did you like our fortress at this mountain's peak? It once stood proud and alabaster white before sinister Typhon corrupted it with all his crime and brood. But it's a sturdy structure and held fast so far. I was upset when first I heard the fates decided they would change things up on us. Have my brothers and I not ruled our realms with strength and gusto? But no use in fighting prophecy, though I may still complain. What I would like to know, my niece, is many things, such as just how did devious Prometheus slip from his bonds? Ah, these titans. We can't seem to get rid of them for good, but we can douse the flames they stole at least. Even with Kronos having gone all soft, the battle on Olympus clearly isn't over yet. but we've shored up our defenses and are keeping all the remnant forces of Prometheus at bay. It's almost like a little ecosystem here. Our powerful automaton defenses that Hephaestus has been busy churning out are excellent at killing anything that moves. So don't take their behavior as a personal affront. We weren't counting on you getting all the way up here. We do appreciate your intervention, though we've others pitching in, such as stout-shouldered Heracles. You've seen him lately, yes? Even upon our snowy mountain here. I like you better, but he's good, I'll give him that. All that you look upon, both land and sea, that's my domain, you know? As long as you don't look up toward the heavens, that's the territory of your Uncle Zeus. Though I got the better share, I think. Olympus gutted like a fish. Used to be all sorts of nymphs and such that had a standing invitation here to make themselves at home. Surely they'll return once the dust settles a bit. Where on our green earth do you reside now, niece? It here resembles some of Demeter's rolling fields of grain. Who knew old Hades had a pasture growing in the underworld, if but a rather dismal-looking one, as I can tell? Your father Hades and I didn't always get along. My crusty elder brother, I called him. Water under the bridge now. Oh, how I miss his dour cheerlessness, my niece.
But don't follow our examples, what I say, dearie. A case in point, fish-faced Poseidon over here. Always trying hard to make a splash, never caring much who ends up getting wet. That's about right, you big oaf.
Quite on the contrary, dear Hestia. You're wrong at least on two accounts, I think. First, I need never try hard to make a splash. I effortlessly do it every time. And second, don't you call me fish-faced, you mean, wrinkly old hag. Is that a bit of rainfall in your whereabouts? Oh, you should see old Demeter and Zeus fight over who's responsible. I merely watch and laugh, for either way, it's more water for me. Disrespectful that our own automatons would treat you like our common foe. Unfortunately, they don't understand the meaning of respect at all. Last time I told them, don't you dare attack my niece, they attacked me. All that trotting through the Oceanus waters must have made you strong and swift, my niece. Now that's aquatic exercise for you. What better way to stay in perfect shape? Virtually every type of weapon in my day, I have never seen such armaments as you now use to quite spectacular effect. You'll be an even match for automatons with that. I see that my great brother Zeus already blessed you with his incomparable strength. Well, perhaps not incomparable. Here, have some of mine and you can weigh the benefits. Oh, my niece, you seem possessed of an uncanny haste. Such swiftness has to be the envy of that rascal Hermes, who as per usual is nowhere to be found. Some messenger he is. So many of the Titan's legions you have wiped from the face of the earth, my niece. But war must gather in your father's underworld. Do give them my blessings one of these nights if you catch my drift. I haven't seen old Hestia this energized in ages, niece. And now her fiery ability is yours. As to whoever said that fire and water don't mix, I'm here to prove them wrong. Niece, you ever get a ringing in your ears? Well, I do. And not from the water pressure, but from hearing good Hephaestus go a-clang, a-clang, a-clang. Why, it's enough to drive me mad. Of considerable stature sometimes storms down through those depths, my niece. A friend of yours, perhaps? For she bears fearsome Stygius, a blade that served our family well. No match for this trident, of course. So you were raised in some dark, hidden recess of the underworld. Something like that, my niece? Raised to find and vanquish the usurper of your father's throne? That's rich.
Sure.
like you pick against me every single time. It cannot possibly be worth it to incur my wrath.
I mean no disrespect.
Had so much vengeance on the mind, I let you have a little taste back there. Fear not, only our enemies shall be getting the full course.
Cousin, our uncle and I were just debating what to do about mortals who turn their backs on us. I think a year or so of plague should settle up the score, but Lord Poseidon here thinks it's more important to go big.
Why would you not go big, given the choice, my delicate nephew? I'll shake the earth so strongly it shall swallow all those nasty mortals up and deliver them straight down into the arms of your comely cousin there. Within my ocean's niece, the deeper you go, the fiercer the pressure. It's almost like you're in too deep yourself. You're favored by Queen Hera, little niece. That's her blessing, all right. High honor to have gotten it, especially for one who, to my knowledge, is unwed. She never favors me. Caught one of those ugly chimeras from the heart of Typhon's endless storm. A true abomination, not a true fish. But it has enough fish-like parts that we shall let it slide. Here, my niece, what say we make a trade? My bountiful blessing in exchange for your fierce battle skills. How fair trade is that? Why, even from this vantage point, I see that silver of yours gleaming like the abalone shell. The mark of talented Hephaestus, isn't it? At least his handiwork looks good. You've been so focused on setting the underworld right that I'm hesitant to bring it up, niece, but your contributions on the surface would be also welcome here at any point. Water's a fascinating substance, niece. Cuts through the tallest mountains with sufficient time, and yet mortals need to drink the stuff to live. You're multi-talented as well, aren't you? Your father never told me that his realm had all those twisting passageways right next to my domain. A drainage system of some sort, is it? Pouring right into my waters? Oh, I'd have words for Hades about this. So many of our enemies once feared us gods, but turned their backs on us. I'd say a show of overwhelming force ought to remind them who's the captain of the ship, however, no? I wonder, my good niece, are you prepared to sink, or are you prepared to swim? Swim, I say. Swim like our very livelihoods depend on it.
Thing.
I trust your battles are proceeding well down there. As for our battles here, why, they are going swimmingly, I'd say. We barely need your help. I'd not have made that choice if I were you, but then if I were you, I wouldn't still be me, so... you get my drift.
Had to do it.
I shall count this one as an honest mistake on your part, for I can fathom no other explanation for what transpired here. You've earned the frosty blessing of Elder Goddess Demeter, as I like to call her, to which she threatens to freeze my oceans, to which I apologize profusely, and we move on. You seem lovelier than ever, niece, as though the splendorous Aphrodite herself bestowed to you her gifts. She did so, didn't she, the scamp? So precisely did you dispatch your foes that I near mistook you for independent Artemis, my niece. I've no idea where that rascal is. I know well that impressive glimmer of the vivid sea that I bestowed to you, my niece. Although my seas are quite as clear and blue, you have yourself a sample of the very best. I see the tides come in. Well, my niece, what do you say we sweep clean through those cheerless woods of yours as might a cataclysmic flood? As you set forth, I bid you do as does the shark, my niece. Surely you know the shark? A hunting fish that swiftly surges ever forward in relentless pursuit of its prey. A long and treacherous journey begins with a single step, my niece. Or if you're swimming, with a single stroke. Would that swimming were an option, I could aid you even more. Me be first among my kin this eve to bid you a safe voyage through the dark. Not that it's going to be safe, but that's my sentiment, nevertheless. I have this feeling you were just about to set forth on another of your fateful escapades. Figured you could use a surge of strength. You know what dams are, niece? Ramshackle structures mortals use to hold my waters back. But when I'm angry, my water crashes through. Be like that water. Don't hold back, all right? A shame you had to grow up in the middle of nowhere, my niece. We gods require certain luxuries. Even your stodgy old father liked his gems and such. But you got by with nothing of the sort. We're positively drowning in the Titan's wretched forces, niece. But we are gods. We've might enough to hold them off, I think. Grown frustrated trying to take down Kronos, niece? I know the feeling all too well. But now you're here upon the surface where Olympus reigns supreme. At least for now.